do that, but I need you to wait on me. All right, everybody hear me all right? Y'all can care to step in the the shade and get out of that sun. It's a little warm here. Well, you already got your history of Fort Norfolk, and you know about a little bit about the Battle of Cranny Island. We are representing the 2nd Virginia Regiment, a militia company that was formed here at Fort Norfolk. It was formed by General Taylor, and what he did was he realized that the companies that were coming down to the fort here, all the men, or most of the men, were related to the officers and the non-commissioned officers, so it led to bad discipline. So what he decided to do was take the officers and non-commissioned officers, split them up, and put them in different companies. So the 2nd Virginia Regiment was formed from companies from Portsmouth, the city of Portsmouth, Norfolk County, Princess Anne County, Isle of Wight County, Southampton County. We've had a company of riflemen from Petersburg and a company of light infantry from Richmond. So they were all mixed up in here, and all the officers, no one knew the officers until they found the next morning and said, here, this is your officer. Of course, they immediately led to better discipline, and they respected the ranks better more. Normally inside the fort, you would have had your U.S. Army regular forces, regular infantry and your artillery. The militia normally was encamped outside the fort. As a matter of fact, we have documentation of the original order book where the 2nd Regiment was actually encamped in the peach orchard behind Fort Norfolk. So we figured somewhere out in this area here was a peach orchard, and that's where the 2nd Regiment was encamped. They went around the area, building fortifications all over throughout the area. They built some over here. There was one they built what used to be called Armistead's Rope Wall, which is, we believe, further down towards that direction there. Not really positive that actual location. But the uniforms are basically for the enlisted, which is what these men are wearing, are a blue hunting shirt made out of linen, with a red fringe, and the same thing for the trousers, blue trousers with a red fringe. The muskets are smooth bore, flintlock muskets. And you might see one of the problems we have with flintlocks. They're not very reliable. They can misfire if you have three things. You got your flint's dull, your powder is wet, or your vent hole is plugged. So you won't fire the musket. We have what you call you've heard of the term flash in the pan? Okay, that's where it's comes from. Because you get a flash in the pan, a lot of smoke and fire, but nothing happens. The bullet doesn't go, the main bullet or bullet being fired down range. All right, and the uniform I have on is the officer's uniform for the militia of Virginia. It was specified by Governor Barber in January of 1812. That's what these uniforms also were specified by Governor Barber in January of 1812. Now the question about the hat I have on. This is what is called a chapeau de bras. Hat on the arm. So you went inside, you take the hat off, put it on the arm. That's how you carry it. And that's what was a lot of the time was the headgear for field grade officers for the U.S. Army, but the militia of Virginia adopted it for all their officers. Some of the lower grade officers wore the regular shakos like the men wore, but they wore silver ornaments on their helmets rather than shakos rather than just white wool or cotton. Again, we are portraying militia, so we don't quite have the uniform of the regulars. What's interesting, though, is that Governor Barber specified in I think it was April of 1814, correct? That the militia of Virginia to adopt the uniform of the U.S. Army. So it's a very good possibility by the time the War of 1812 was over, especially in this area here, that the militia of Virginia was wearing the same uniform that the U.S. Army was wearing. So you should think about that. We're going to go through a musket demonstration here, show you how they loaded the muskets and some of the commands they used. Now the one thing is I need somebody to count how many commands I give. Which one of y'all want to do that? You going to do that for me? Now count, okay? Can you count to 20? Okay, good. All right. You're going to count. All right, you stay right there. Now what I'm going to go through is what they call loading by the count, and loading by the numbers. And what that is to train the new recruit how to load and fire a musket. They won't be given these commands if they were in battle, because it just takes 2 libras. You'll find out why here in a few minutes why they were given these in combat. The command was in the combat when prime and load. or load and fire at will. So, all right, we'll just go ahead. Shoulder, off. Right, wheel. Alright, I'm going to start the command now. You ready to start counting? Load by the word. Open. Hand. Handle. Target. Rod. Shut. Hand. Load, target. Draw, whammer. Ram down.